Good morning. It feels like it's been forever. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. Let's make sure you can hear me first, because I just switched out my desk and everything else, and I tried to make sure you guys could hear me. Okay, good. I know the last couple times I went through and it keeps changing my default microphone and all that. Okay, awesome. So we got Rhonda. I was just chatting with her. We got Fred, our Texas peeps from San Antonio. Tara, awesome. So love seeing all of these. Today is going to be, of course, it's one of my favorites. It's all about content pages. And of course, I'm going to have a lot of goodies for you that you can implement on your own. If you've done any of the Bold Trail classes where I've gone in person, Remix has had me on this Bold Trail tour. We tried to go over some of these. Some locations we got that far, some we did not. But I am going to get you that full hack sheet to be able to do everything. But we're going to do it live. And we're also going to add, I decided since September, we have that full success summit where I'm going to be teaching, I think a seller's page is what Tavia has me doing. And then she's going to literally hands-on showing you how I did what I did. So I decided today I'll do like an area resources relocation information page, and we're going to build it all together. So I have the prompt in ChatGPT that can be your best assistant ever. But then we're going to add in super quick links that you can actually create as pages for your website, add them to a drop down. We're going to do your home app, Keeping Current Matters, blog feed, and market reports. Those are 3 super simple, easy hacks to be able to create that content as pages on your website, along with using ChatGPT to show how we can really build out stuff. So awesome, Anna, lots of good stuff. Erica, yes, streaming has started. We've got people live, so hopefully you're on there. There was something with Facebook. I got an error, but of course that doesn't happen until we go live. I don't know what changes Facebook keeps making, but I know we can't stream in groups. I try to stream it live on my page, but I never know if there's an error until I click live, and by then it's too late to go and try to fix anything. Yes, picture refresh should be all good to go. Some Kentucky, awesome. Lots of places where I've been. I know, Tara, I'm coming to the west coast of Florida and Fort Lauderdale, Miami. That's all September. So like Tampa, Port Charlotte, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, still working on venues and all of that good stuff. I just know I have some September dates blocked. So stay tuned for that information. Super excited. Oh, yes. So I will be over there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move my screen, start sharing so we can get this fun started, because it is one of my favorites. All right, so I'm going to move this over, share. Of course, I did find out we always want to log in to our MAXTECH, our Bold Trail system, through our Max Center account. So make sure it's saved as a favorite, or you can go to all apps or apps and tools. Just click the blue save button up there so it always pops up front and center. I did not realize, especially if you're signed up for Lead Concierge, that your logins count, and you logging in. I always go directly because I don't get leads. It doesn't really matter to MAXTECH. I bypass remax.net entirely. But you as an agent want to make sure you are logging in that way, because that's how they can track if you're active or not. So we want to make sure you know that. Always go to your Max Center and then click on the Bold Trail platform. So now we're going to go right into our website. So now I'm in the dashboard and I'm in website settings. Of course, if you're a team leader or an admin, Whenever you're going to work on a site, make sure you click the scope, whichever site, so you can see I have a many that I can choose from as an admin, but make sure whenever you're going to design a page or anything like that, that you're on the correct website that you want to be adding content to. So I decided I want to be able to show you a couple hacks, and I might have closed out my Canva, but I do need that code. So I'm going to pull that up over here super quick. And of course, just so I can get the brand, I want to be able to show you on your website. So I kind of tried to hide. I have a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to add a whole bunch of other stuff for a drop down. I want to be able to show you when it comes to these widgets, if you want color, there are certain widgets we can use and we can actually change the color code for the background. By default, like this, the market report and contact is going to be black, but I'm really loving that new navy blue, especially now that we have the new bright blue color from all the new coloring templates for Remax. It really looks sharp. So we're going to change all that in my widgets today, and we're going to add in a bunch of pages. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So I'm going to come right over to pages, and I'm going to create a custom page. I like to literally start from scratch, but there are some great templates. I do use the templates for landing pages. Any videos you've seen, I like just starting with the classic one. But when it comes to content, there are a lot of great ones that you can modify, change out photos, change out text. It gives you a great layout to be able to do that. It's kind of in Latin or whatnot, but I'm going to just start from scratch, plain. I'm going to create a custom page. And as always go to advanced options. What are we going to name this page? I'm just going to do area resources. And what I'm going to put it under, you can see I have a bunch on here. I'm going to create a new category, and I'm going to call it resources, because we're going to have a bunch of links on this. I just don't want it to get commingled with all the other stuff I've done. So resources, then you hit enter. If you are an admin working on one of your branch sites or your team leader, adding to child sites is basically adding to those attached. So if you're a team lead and you're working on your team site, if you want your agents on your team to also inherit this page, you would just toggle this on. This is just my personal site, so that button does nothing for anybody. Always make sure to have in your like a description, whether it's just a short name, and always keywords. So I typically have like a little formula that I have, and I just plug and play depending on what page it is. But you always want that. That's search engine optimization. I am no SEO queen. The rules are constantly changing. I just literally put in kind of keywords just from running ads for many years on Google, just what it always told me how it found pages. So I just going to use those keywords. No queen here, but put something in there for sure. Your location and all of that, your name, Remax, all of that good stuff. So we always, biggest thing, let's title, category, and then save that. And now we have an empty space. Of course, if you have gone through and created an email, like your own email template or anything, you're going to see it's very similar. If you've used Constant Contact, MailChimp, BombBomb, they all look very similar. It's a drag and drop. You could drag and drop simply from all of these items. I like to use rows, because if I start dragging and dropping from here, it's not as easy to move or put something in between. So I personally go over to rows to decide what do I want that layout to look like. But also, if you're looking to change fonts or colors or anything like that, you come over to the settings tab. So this is allowing you to change a lot of, if you want that blue, I think I have a page for my blog categories that's that navy blue background. You can change a lot of things. Usually when I'm in the settings, it's going to be changing the default font. So Railway is the default, but I like different ones. And then link color. So maybe if you've added other colors, they always get saved. So I can say, oh, I want that link color to be that Remax bright blue. And again, you can add in more page details here, and you can add in a favicon, but I don't know that that's ever changed. The favicon is usually this little icon up in the top. So depending on what template you're using, if you're using a semi-custom template, like the Remax template or the luxury one, you'll have the balloon up there. If you're using one of Inside Real Estate's templates, then you're going to have that little house. I've changed that icon and nothing's changed. So I haven't done it in a while though. So things are constantly changing. You can check it out. So I'm going to go over here to rows. I changed my font. So now I have my default font. And I literally kind of just start by dragging and dropping these long rows, perfect for titles, paragraphs, or anything like that. But so I always put a spacer at the very top. And I do that because on this new editor, I've noticed my title literally is right up on top of my header. And if you're using that black header or the blue header instead of it being white, it almost feels like it's going to crop off part of the text on there. Just to me, I just want a little space. So I just use that spacer to just give a little buffer in between the header up here. And I'll just show you that. So if I come over to buying page, if I don't use that, it's literally right here. And if you have a lot of tabs for your navigation, to me, it's too close. So I add that little spacer. It gives me a little bit of buffering area right there. So I add this. I'm just like, okay, now I can start dragging and dropping what I want. I do know I'm going to add in buttons. So I think I'll add in 3 buttons. Maybe I'll put that here. I'm going to go ahead and add in, I want to add it usually like when I do a website, we'll have a paragraph and then a logo. And we'll see what happens when I go into ChatGPT and we see what it comes up with. So I just kind of have a little bit of content there. Oh, interesting, Anna. She is using the collection template and she has the house. I know on the original Remax template, website template, we actually there's a balloon for that favicon up there. So that's interesting because those are semi-custom templates. Interesting. All right, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to drag and drop the title. I know I'm going to make this a short paragraph and I'm going to add an image here. So this is where, and maybe I'm going to add a button to these rows. Now I do a little something different when I'm adding a button. By default, it's this color, and it's also going to fit the text. I like it to be full width of that little box. So before I add them in there, to me, it's a lot easier. I just click on the button and I'm going to come down here. I want the size a little more, and see how this auto width, I can undo that and just make it 100%. That way, all buttons will be the same exact size going across the screen. And now I can change what button color do I want. And I like the new, like the dark, that's black. So I like the navy blue. So I can come over here and I think I'll have we have a relocation guide and I want to get people over there. But I also have, and I'm going to copy this. And I'm just going to drag and drop. So if you know how to drag and drop, you can completely build out everything. And I just dragged and drop it into the little spaces. I can put buyer guide and seller guide. And let's go see what ChatGPT can do. All right, so ChatGPT, I just prompted, help me write a page for my real estate website with area information, attractions, and relocation information for Brevard County, Florida, also known as the Space Coast. So the tourism for Brevard County is going all in with the Space Coast. So I want to make sure I have that. It's a big keyword and everything else. So I wanted to make sure that's in there. So I know a lot of people like on the Treasure Coast, and you have all of those different things. So if you know and your area is specific and you want to be able to make it searchable for locals, not just people out of town, but vice versa as well, because some people up here in Tennessee would have no idea where the Space Coast is. They may know Brevard County, but they're probably going to get it confused with Broward County, completely different areas. But we just want to add in those keywords if we can. And of course, if you're using ChatGPT or any other of the AI, the more you use it, the more it gets used to your tone and how you like things. And you can always make it redo things. And so let's see what happens. I want you to be able to see it live. Usually when I'm doing the class, I already kind of have it drafted, but let's just see what happens. Oh, and I love Discover Brevard County. That was actually a page I had created that I gave to one of my agents. So lots of things it's given me, like all the content I need. And I always would say, and I don't know that we'll do that in this class for time's sake, is any of these links or the locations or anything like that, you want to hyperlink it to whatever it's talking about. So just do a little extra. Yes, it's great to have the page, but you want to make it as easy as possible. I think Google likes having those backlinks and, going to reputable websites and stuff like that. Of course, the more you do that, if something goes out of business and then you have a broken link because the website, but to me, having all of these hyperlinked inside of your website adds huge value because you're making it as easy as possible. I like my websites to be a hub of information, not just where somebody goes to look for homes or anything like that. So same thing with the schools, all of that. You want to link it. So this has a ton of great information. It's a perfect starter. You can always add in your other favorite things to do, like attractions. One thing that I absolutely love that's usually not in here is manatees. So I had got married in Palm Bay at the captain's house where I grew up, and rode my bike to go fishing, but we would slap the water and manatees would come up. Or if you're on the beaches on a cold day, you can go to DeSoto Parkway and there's a gazillion manatees all on top of each other. So those hidden gems, why not add those? You live, work, and play in that area. Provide something that Zillow isn't, right? So that's all these cool things that you can do. So I'm going to come up here and literally copy and paste. So I'm going to come over. Here's the title. And maybe I want it to be a little bigger. Let's see what 30. Maybe I want to change the text color to like a navy. I could do that. Now come back over here. And I'm going to come over here. Literally copying and pasting. And I feel my eyes, maybe I'm just old, but 14 point is super tiny to me. So I always kind of make it 16. And then I come down to this line height and I make it 1.5. To me, it's just easier to read. Now, of course, if you had a logo, I always try to add in a logo branding of some sort on any pages. I don't have a logo, so I'm just going to add my photo. So I can come over here. You can upload, and you can see I have a lot of different uploads, but I do the websites for my agents and stuff. So I'm just going to add in that logo. Now, if you're using a long logo and it's like, oh, that doesn't look right, either add more text or I can come right here to the auto width. And of course, now I can resize that so it fits to what I want it to look like. And you may say, make it full width on the mobile because what it's going to do is these sites are mobile responsive. So depending on what you're doing, they'll stack that information. So you may want to say, instead of it being tiny on the mobile, you want to make sure maybe make it full width because then it'll stack the two. All right. So now I have all these guides and I know I have the links, and that's when I have a button, where does that button go? And you'll enter that URL. If I always say new page, I don't know why, I just keep it as a habit, especially if you're putting a hyperlink to those locations, always in a new page. You never want anyone to navigate away from your website. Always open in a new page. It's just something you want to be always in the habit of doing. So new page, that's the default. So it's good. I'm going to come over here. I have guides. So I'm just going to click on my relocation guide. I don't need my full URL. You can, it won't matter. If you are team lead or doing something on the office level, just use this last part. Otherwise, when your agents inherit that, it's going to take them back to the page on your team site or anything like that. They're not going to be able to generate leads on their own. So I can come over here, relocation guide, and I can just put the, the / pages / whatever that page name is. Now I'm going to come over to my buyer's guide. And again, making it really easy. And I know I go really fast, but they're great. You're on here, you can sign up for the replay and all that fun stuff. All right, and now I have my seller's guide. So now, let's see, what is next on here? So bullet points makes it a little trickier, but that's okay. So again, I'm doing a header, paragraph, and then we're going to use bullet points because the bullet points will not go into a regular text box. So I'm going to go right here, copy this. This next one is going to be a title. And then we're going to have a paragraph, and then we're going to have a list. But before I do that, I want to come over here. I'm going to add a full row underneath these buttons because I want them to be able to do a search. Yes, it's a page about area information, but I want to show you cool. So there's these cool forms, and this we'll add at the bottom as well. But I can select a form. I want to add a search, but you also have a lead form. So that's going to be anything that you want it to be for, but you want to make sure, and we'll do that at the bottom. I would just want to add a simple search right now. And I'm going to click on this because I want to change the color, and I'm going to get rid of this so everything else gets bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to click delete the type because that'll make it a little bigger. I'm going to click on this again. I can make the text bigger if I wanted to, but I'm fine. And then I'm going to come down to, where is my button? That's the outline color, background color. So I can come over here. I can make it whatever color I want. Now, because I have this as a darker blue, I'm going to make this a brighter blue so it stands out. One thing I will say when you're using the search bar, it's kind of weird because everything's white on the page. So it kind of gets hidden. So I do click on the row itself, not the actual widget that we have in there, but the row. And I just come over here, and you can see I have a bunch of like light grays, but of course you can make it any color you want. I just want it to have a little different than white. It'll make this search bar pop more. So now I'm going to come over here. We have our, and again, I'm going to make this 40. And then I'm going to copy and paste this. And again, changing that to 16, making it 1.5. And now I'm coming back over to my rows. I'm going to add a new row. Try to scoot this up. I'm going to add a couple more rows to move this back up, because I could add in videos. We have an amazing videos that I don't even have to do. So I'm going to come back over here. See how this is a list? So I'm going to use the list for these bullet points. And it'll look a little weird. When I come in here, doesn't like the double spacing. So again, I just delete that extra spacing, change the font to the size I want. 15, 16, and 1.5. And I could do, maybe I want this to be a little more, so it kind of spaces it out. But again, let's see. I don't think so, Fred. Trust me. I wish, because I have to do that every time. A lot of times if I'm doing a lot of paragraphs or titles, I just make a copy, and that way the preset is already there. But I know I'm already going pretty far advanced, so I'm just doing it manually. So repetitive, right? Because then we can do that. Let's see here. If I wanted to, maybe I want to go ahead and let's add in a divider. So that'll kind of give a little break of a space. So I'm just going to drag and drop, but I don't want it to be the full width. So I'm going to click on this. Usually, and you can change the color if you want it to be one of the other colors, one of your brand colors. I'm going to go over here and just do 50. So that way it's kind of half and not full length. Sometimes that looks a little weird if it's going full length. So I just do it 50%. And if I wanted to change the color, I want to add in, let me go over to my brand kit here. I'll pull this over so you can see me doing this. So I want to change a color. I want you to see how, so inside of my Canva, I have my brand kit. So I don't have this navy blue, which I really like. It pops with that. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in there and show you, just like any buttons or anything, I can come right here and paste. And now it's going to be that color. So now when I click on this button, I can do the same thing. Let's see if it's already there. Yep. So it'll be the last color I did. I'm going to go ahead and change that again and again, because this blue right here, I feel pops with that blue. It just really stands out. I guess you can tell I like that combination. And I could change my font colors up here. Maybe I wanted to make it the red, or if you have other branding, all of that good stuff. All right. So now let me go over to YouTube. I want you to be able, if you have videos, even better. Let's see here. I'm just going to do a search for Space Coast. I have it saved somewhere. Let's see, tourism. I have it somewhere. So if you have a good, and Florida's great when it comes to that. I just have to find their channel. Florida Space Coast. Okay. So we have, Florida's great. I know when all the websites, sometimes everybody's a little different. So here I have a bunch of, I can just come over here to videos. It'll show me the more recent ones versus doing just a regular search, or sometimes it's on there. So I just want to just see what we have here. So lots and lots of videos, but that's old. Well, I liked it when I just went to their home because they had a video. So that's a year ago. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. And I'm just going to grab the URL for the YouTube video. And now I'm going to come over to content and I'm going to add a video. So I can click on that little space, whether it's Vimeo or YouTube. If it's my own, I would probably use Vimeo. I have had agents, on YouTube, there's the automatic at the very end are other videos you may like. And of course, that always depends on what you're doing on YouTube or what your kids are doing. And I had an agent get really upset because they saw kind of porny stuff as their suggested, and they thought that's what everyone saw. And I had to tell them, like, I don't know what you're doing on YouTube or your kids, but mine are all Pokemon, because that was back when my kids were probably on my YouTube watching Pokemon or Japanese stuff or who knows. So Vimeo doesn't do that. So if it's your own video or there's a Vimeo channel, tourism or anything like that, Vimeo is great. It just shows that video. So I love Vimeo for that purpose alone, because a lot of people don't always understand those little suggestions of YouTube, because they want you to go to YouTube and be on there as long as possible. I know. Horrible story, but it's true. It's true. Some people just don't understand. All right. So back over to content. I'm going to go ahead, instead of rebuilding all of this, because we have a lot of stuff, I wanted you to be able to see all of this. I do want to show you. I'm going to come over here and we're going to add in that form again. But what I'm going to do is go to the row, because I want to change. I want this form to pop. So I'm going to use that blue again. And now I'm going to come over here, select form. And here it will really depend. Usually, I guess if it's on a buyer page, a seller page, it makes this a little easier. So I'm going to go ahead and just have a buyer, because obviously a seller already lives in the area and probably wouldn't be as interested in this. So always, when you're using a form, what is the lead type? How are they going to go in? Think of your drips that you have on. That's going to make a big difference. So I'm going to make this a buyer, potential, more likely. If you're going to send them somewhere, that's what you would do there. And of course, hashtag. Always have a hashtag. I want to know when somebody fills out one of these forms and I'm building my pipeline, where did they come from? What form did they fill out? So here I'm going to do area resource. So, and whatever it is that you'll remember, so I can just do area resource page. You saw I had like buyer guide, buyer page, all of that. So now I'm going to add a lead form, and you can see that right here, but I'm using that navy blue so you can't see the information. So I'm going to click on this form again. We're going to go down, and where's my text? I can make my text bigger. Where's my font color? Down, 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 down. So the text color by default is going to be black. I can make that white. And then I'm going to come down to my button. Here is my button right here. And it pops down. Sometimes it'll stay there. Sometimes it's not you. You didn't do anything. So I have to find my background color. And I'm going to click. Oh, no, I like this. Look how great that looks. And it says see list now. So I have to come back up to the form information. If you wanted this to be, you could always edit this. So maybe you want this to be where they add their address so that you get a prompt to do a CMA or something like that. You can make this form whatever you want. So I am, where'd my information? So obviously I don't have a URL. They're not going to see a list, but you could do that if you're doing a page about a neighborhood or subdivision or something like that. You can have it to a search. I would use a squeeze page too. But here I'm just going to, send me a message. And then hit enter, and that'll save. So I can always come back and edit this after the fact if I wanted to. And again, just like I did on the top, I'm just adding a spacer at the bottom. So this form will pop a little bit. There'll be a little teeny bit of a buffer in between, my footer and the end of this page. So once I get done adding everything, I'm going to come all the way up. We have to publish it. So I'm going to go ahead and publish. Now I'm just going to click the back arrow, because if we want that page to be on our website, we have to add it to our navigation. So I'm going to come over here to website settings. I'm going to scroll down to custom navigation. And you can see I already have that buy sell. I already have the guides. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look for that resources. I think that's what I called it. Oops, I already forgot. Did I call it resources? I'm looking not just a page. So you could add, you get 4 options to add now that we have the new editor, which is good because a lot of times people are adding like 10 and they wrapped and they're a little crazy. But I'm going to come down here. I like categories because it's going to give me that drop down. Okay, so here's my resources category. Right now, I only have that one page, but as we build these next pages, you're going to see that change. So typically, once I do anything, I can come over here, refresh my website, and now you see resources, and I only have the page that we just did. So it has all that good stuff, and you see, an unordered list. So I must have did something. So that's okay. If you mess up, that's the great thing. These pages are super editable. I'm going to click on resources to easily find that page again. And something is down at the bottom there that I can just delete and save. All right, so now we're going to go back. We're going to add a new, now this is where the goodies are, and I have a link. So let me show that really quick. Banners. So I'll have that scrolling at the bottom so you can get this sheet that I'm going to have right here. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop it over here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the home app, which you can find your link in right. If you click on your profile, this link right here is to your home app. And I'm not 100% sure. I think everybody has this now. Not sure about Canada. I think independent regions have it now. Not 100%. Maybe someone can comment if independent regions have that home app now. Some awesome stuff coming to it soon. All right, so we're going to create a custom page. And these are my easy peasy little hacks to be able to add more content to your pages. It allows you to add more SEO. So again, we're going to advanced options. We're not even building a page this time, makes it super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and home app. You could write download. I find it starts wrapping. So you always want to kind of keep these titles nice and short. And we're going to add to the category. We're going to go down to resources. So that way it's going to be on that same drop down. As we add pages, since we already added it to the navigation, as we add pages, this will just pop up. And because we're just taking it to a link somewhere else, I'm coming right over here to URL and I'm adding. Remember, you can add your entire domain if you want to, or you can just add in this /HOLP/app. And again, you want your description in meta. You want all that fun stuff for SEO. And I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to come up here and publish. Oh, bummer. Well, hopefully soon you'll be able to have it. That stinks. So that's the home app. I could always go to view, or again, now I can go back to my website, refresh it. And now you see download my app. Literally opens up where somebody can enter their information, all that good stuff. So now we're going back over. We're going to click the back arrow so we can create a new page. My simple hack. Let's see. Let's do market reports. And here is this market reports. Just little extension. Create custom page. Advanced options. Market reports. Category is under that resources. And again, I'm just taking to a page that's, somewhere on my website, but I want it to be more visible. So I just do this /market-report.php ? And again, add in that information. Now I click save and publish. Now come over to my website. I can X out of that. I don't need that either. All right. Area resources. Okay, so we're going to refresh. So you can see now I have market reports. So now somebody can come in, they're going to enter an area, neighborhood, city, zip code, and be able to get that. If they're not already in here, it's going to, prompt them to fill out that information. So another one I have is like listing alerts. So it would prompt them, and I'll show you what that page, you could do the exact same thing. I'll show you what that page would look like. So it is like a forced registration, and it does get them to set up listing alerts. Here's your search, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and add that real quick. That's a good page. Click back. Custom page. Under resources, URL, save, publish, and then you'll see it under there. And now's the little tricky is keeping current matters. I want to make sure, and you do not need an account. If you already have an account, it will link to your, so I think for the office level, like real estate news, this is how it is. You don't need to have an account to have their blog feed, which I love. They have daily blogs. It's not clickbait. It's literally really good content based by facts, data, all of that. So I love keeping current matters. So you can add this blog feed. It gives that automatic, a blog a day kind of movement. You don't have to do anything. If somebody clicks on it, if you have an account, it'll go to your branded account. Oh, I got to change that. If you don't, I'll show you where that goes. It'll just go to the free Keeping Current Matters blog. So I'm going to come over here. We are going to create a custom page. And this is a little different. So I'm going to do KCM blog feed. Category, resources. And now we're not going into the URL. We're going into the RSS feed. And you could do a search for real estate RSS feeds. You could get mortgage feeds, all of that, where it's like daily news, daily mortgage news, I think is one. RSS feeds used to be huge, not as much anymore. So not all of them are going to work, but there is, RSS feeds are great if you want, mortgage daily news or anything like that. Just do a Google search for real estate RSS feeds and you'll get like a whole list of other pages you could add. It literally embeds the feed onto your website. We can't edit any of the blogs or anything like that, but it's great. So here I want this property feed. So we're going to come down here. If you have a Keeping Current Matters, click on any of the articles or go into your account, and this is what you'll want. You'll see the $A equals and like a really long number. That's your account number. You're going to plug that into that spot. If you don't have an account, use the free. Oh, you guys probably, this is tiny. So this is for non-account. This is what you're going to use if you have an account, and you'll put your account number there. So that way you're good to go. So I'm going to use the free one so you can see what that looks like. Come back over here, and we're adding this into the free or into the RSS feed. So I'm going to go ahead and click save and publish. Oh, I've already done that. Okay. All right, let's see. So if I've already done one of these pages, it won't let me. I mean, I could keep the name the same. Let's see, real estate blog, KCM blog. And there's a space there. So it was literally, I could have kept the page title the same. Let's see. It's just, it gave me the error that I already had that slug, meaning obviously no two phone numbers, no two domains can be the same. So the same thing with a slug, like it was basically saying, I already have a page that has that same slug, and that's everything after your domain /pages/slug. So I just modified this, or I could have just modified that slug if I wanted to. So let's see if I've already done this. Nope. Okay. So, and then it's already published. So I'm going to come over here and refresh. Under resource. So here's Keeping Current Matters. Now I'll show you the free version. So it's free. It has all the stuff. It's just not branded. It's just their free website. Still great content. And especially if you're not a big blogger, it gives you moving parts to, great articles about real estate on your website. So is that all good stuff? Oh, and it's on your site. It's on your site. Yes, we do. It's awesome. And there are some crazy things coming to that app. So stay tuned on that. We heard about it at BOC. Some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But yes, you have that. So any questions on what we did? Because we literally did an area resource page with buttons, search, add videos, all of that good stuff, forms. We added a bunch of links. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully let me unhide that ticker. So hopefully you have that. And let's see, then we added your market reports, your app, and listing alerts, and the blog feed. So that was a lot of information that we just did for your websites. And I'll be doing the same one when it comes to the Success Summit, which I hope you guys all do. Maybe Anna, if you could share the link. Let's see, I have it on my website somewhere. Pretty sure. Let's see where that's at. Let's see here. I've got it. Let's try to make that a comment. I just added that, I think. Okay, it's on my website under resources. Bold Trail. Agent resources. Oops, sorry. On my website. There we go. Copy link. StreamYard. Comments. The Success Summit. So that's the long link. Let's see. I think it commented. So that's the long link, not the short link. that we posted in the groups and everything else. Success Summit, there's a ton of classes coming. And what I absolutely love is they are using power users within the network to help do these classes. I think we get like 20 minutes, kind of show off how we use it every day and what we're doing. And then the RE/MAX tech trainers are going to literally dissect our brains and allow you to do more of a hands-on workshop, because the ones that Inside Real Estate did, I think the feedback was it went too fast. They're never going to watch the replays. So literally watch it somewhere and be on your desktop so that you can go along with them to build this content. It's going to be phenomenal. I saw all the agents on the list. It's going to be so great. I think mine is the 15th. Anna, I believe you kick it off. I believe you're the first class on the 8th. So we have the links in all of the groups. Go, I put the link here, or I tried, yes. So I posted it there. Make sure to click on that. Go watch it. Go check out. Make sure to register. And if you're not on MaxEngage, make sure to go on to MaxEngage, register for these classes with your RE/MAX email, and you will get points to attend live classes. And I know they're the website hack isn't working. Are you on Safari? Let me use the long link. Oh, it's working. But I use the RE/MAX shortener. Let me do the long link real quick. Here is the long link. Sometimes that RE/MAX URL shortener. No, it was rem.ax, but I got the long link there, so you're good. Yeah, the rem.ax/website hacks. But I also know sometimes Safari does not like bit.ly or the RE/MAX URL shortener. So you have the long one too. Yes. And Anna said that. So we're good. You should have that. And it has a bunch of little hacks, little fun things that I do. So you can start adding those content pages and all of that. And of course, you guys know how to find me if you have any questions, but I hope to see you guys on those Success Summits. I decided not to do my September class because we have so many classes coming up, but I will be back live in October for our Spooktacular Marketing, which I have to really get working because, as always, my October class for the marketing, I will have my tokens for 2026 monthly emails and the holiday campaigns that you literally can copy and paste into your Bold Trail account. And then you have a full year of all the goodies. So I need to get busy on that. November, I'm probably going to do the class I was going to do in September, which is all AI for blogs and stuff like that. And then December is usually when I do my business planning. So it'll have all sorts of goodies for you. So I think that's it. You guys know how to find me. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.